Hello, this is Phil, and this week we're talking about um, using spells and if it's right whether to use books for spells or if you have to make your own. First things first, I want to mention something about a couple of weeks ago, which I forgot to mention before, about the being a young teenager, a young witch, excuse me. Um, Basically, I just wanted to talk about how witches are portrayed on television and how it annoys me how they always seem to be portrayed as evil or strange. For example, last week I watched an episode of Come Dine With Me where this psychic woman, who I'm pretty sure was with the craft, she believed, she had a piece of obsidian between her cleavage for like protection or something, and how it annoyed me when the narrator kind of took the mickey out of her. That's essentially all I really wanted to talk about. There are other there are other things I can mention about that, but I find it highly annoying when witches or Wiccans or anything like that are portrayed as evil in media. But it kind of makes sense considering, especially on the BBC, they will put up Christian-based beliefs and make Wiccans seem evil or wrong or whatever. So that's that from that. So yeah. Okay. Now to talk about this week's topic, which is using spells. I generally don't use spells, but I agree with Melissa in her video. She talked about how using your own spells is generally more powerful and more connected with yourself, which is what I tend to do. I tend to use my own spells or make my own spells. But I don't see any problem with taking spells from books, because I do that as well. I'm going to talk about a few examples of spells I use, and rituals as well. I've done the 8 Sabbath rituals from like the 8 Sabbats. I usually do rituals on those days, or at least think about what the day means. In the past, I've done what's known as the Rite of Ashka-Ente, which is a death summoning. I did it for my own personal reasons, but it's not one I would suggest for beginners especially, because there are lots of things that can go wrong with that. But I did it for my own personal reasons, so and people who know me will probably know what those reasons are. I've attempted to do a Triforce summoning or elemental summoning, but I did it wrong, and a demon took it as an invite to come into this world, and basically it went all wrong, and it was not fun, basically. I quite often use lunar-based spells, for example, on the full moon. On the full moon, is when you try and like activate a moonstone. You put the moonstone in warm water and keep it in the moonlight. If you keep it outside, then the wind will get to it as well, but you keep it in water underneath the moonlight. There's another one, which is a lunar-based spell, which is a blessing for a bowstring, which is a spell connected with Artemis, which is one of my goddesses. I like Artemis. Basically, on a waxing moon, you leave a bowstring in moon water, which is the water you use to activate a moonstone, and you leave it there overnight, and you say like you say some words. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's in my Book of Shadows, which I forgot to bring with me again, because I was going to show that off as well. Sorry about that. And I quite often use crystal magic. I use crystals to create chakra, and I use that chakra to create shields and other kinds of protection and detection, like using your third eye to be able to see ghosts and other spirits. And that's all the spells I've used before in the past and still use now. So that's this week's subject. I look forward to doing the next one. Blessed be.